Hey, it's the Room Escape Geek here. Today's adventure has us checking out Knights of the Round Table from LA Dragon Studios in Van Nuys. Let's see how we did. For today's adventure, we are Knights of the Round Table. We're assisting Merlin in finding the Holy Grail so that we can help restore Camelot to its days of glory. First off, I want to give full disclosure on this one. I have had a chance to do this room twice. Early on when they first opened up, I got a chance to go through it with my group where we actually did a team run through it. And then more recently, the owner has invited me back so I can see a walkthrough of all the changes he has made to the set as well as to the puzzle design. So I want that to be known that some of the stuff I'm talking about may be more recent compared to what it was in the past, and so I want you to at least understand I have had a chance to see some of the changes. So from a set design aspect, they've done a really good job taking the mundane office space and creating it to a fantastic magical world that you would expect with King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table, and Merlin. You actually start outside the castle and you work your way through until you end up in the throne room, and each room in there actually has an individual feel to it. They've done a good job with each one kind of creating its own personality as you go. I have seen from, again, the original to what they've done now, there are quite a few things that they've actually upgraded and made feel a little more authentic, and I really appreciate that they're reinvesting into the room. It means they actually care. From a theming aspect, they've done a good job from the YouTube video all the way through the room itself to kind of create that fantastical, magical feel. For the kids, they have little outfits they can wear. For your photos afterwards, they have swords and shields and things of that sort. So they've really brought in that fantasy, that kind of Dungeons and Dragons feel you would expect with something that's fantastical from that era. There is some scavenging in this room. I think that's a throwback to the idea of trying to be accommodating from all the way from beginners all the way to the advanced or the enthusiast. And so they've thrown some of that scavenging back into the room. That is fantastic because it does allow it to be accessible for everybody. It's not my cup of tea, but some people do really enjoy it. And if you go with a mixed group, it gives something for everybody to do. So we're obviously here to see the puzzles. How are the puzzles in this room? There aren't too many physical puzzles in the room. There is one that I can think of towards the end that I guess is considered a physical puzzle because it's actually puzzle-like. There are other parts where you may have to manipulate things at this point that maybe feels physical, but it's nothing overly heavy. You're not crawling through anything. You're not having to carry anything from one area to another. So it's not physical in that sense. Now, there are not a lot of abstract puzzles. You know that's my favorite. This is more of a straightforward room, but it's understandable. This room is meant to be accessible to everybody. In order to have that happen, it needs to be mostly straightforward. With that said, there were a couple parts where we felt, even as enthusiasts, we weren't quite getting it. We were overlooking things. That is our own fault. We are enthusiasts. We love to overthink things. Again, it's a very straightforward room, so if you're like me and you overthink, you're actually going to do terrible in this room. So try to kind of scale back if you are an enthusiast. It is great for beginners, it is great for intermediate, and it's fantastic for children. And I do think that from a puzzle design, the beginners, intermediate, and children will absolutely love this room. So the unique thing about this room is that the owner has taken the time to listen to the opinions of enthusiasts and try to actually implement some of their ideas. One of those ideas is actually putting in scalability into the room. Now, it's not going to take the room from very easy to very hard, but at least it could add a layer of difficulty if that's what you're looking for. Or if you tend to be more beginner, they can actually take some things out and still have the flow work nicely. It's a great idea. I think scalability is something that's lacking in this industry, and this room does have that. So from an overall experience, we had a fantastic time. Parking at this place is easy. I love it. There's plenty of parking. It's its own lot for that building. It's in Van Nuys, so the traffic is nothing like that you'd see in LA. So accessibility is fantastic. The owner himself, Adam, was there for us. Adam, if you have been part of the enthusiast groups at all, you know that he is a very outgoing. He communicates like mad to the community. He's in this stuff. He loves this stuff, and he's trying to bring it to the forefront of immersive entertainment. So I appreciate that. He talked to us for a while before and after, listened to some of our input on things we liked or didn't like, and I always appreciate that because, as you all know, I'm extremely opinionated, which is why I'm making these videos. So he was there, great for us, great as a GM. I know they have other GMs. I have to imagine that Adam has done a good job of making sure they understand what makes a good experience, and I really think overall experience fantastic. So would I recommend Knights of the Round Table? It depends. If you're an enthusiast and you're looking for that puzzle heavy room, this is not going to be it. This is not going to scratch that itch. But if you're anything else, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you're an enthusiast who likes story, if you're an enthusiast who likes set design, if you're an enthusiast who likes a good GM who will sit and talk to you and actually listen to you, this is a great room and I highly recommend it. This is fantastic for kids. This is fantastic to bring people into the industry that maybe they've heard about escape rooms, but they're scared of them because they're maybe scary or they're claustrophobic or any of the things we've always heard. This room is fantastic for an entry level. It does set the bar high at that point, and from here on out, you're going to make sure you find better and better stuff for that person. But it gets them into the hobby, or addiction if you want to call it that, and I think it's a great room, again, for beginners all the way to enthusiasts, depending on what you're looking for. Just know you're not going to find really, really heavy puzzles here. So that's it. That's my experience at Knights of the Round Table from LA Dragon Studios in Van Nuys. I'm the Room Escape Geek. I'll see you next time.